What's up guys, Tamrakshan here. Right now the 160cc segment has plenty of choices with the new updated BS-6 versions, and in this video we are going to compare two from that segment, which are the Yamaha FC version 3.0 BS-6 and the Honda X-Blade BS-6. Both of these bikes are really good ones, but there are plenty of differences between the two, and like all our comparison videos, we have 5 factors to cover every details, and the factors are design and build quality, specifications, ride quality and comfort, mileage and price. And here, without wasting any time, let's start things with the first factor, which is the design and the build quality. Well, these two bikes are sporty style bikes, but still the approach is very different. The Honda X-Blade has a robotic style, while the FC version 3.0 has a more meaner look, and this is very evident right from the front. The headlight used in the X-Blade is a very unique style one, which is a LED one, and yet the range and coverage of this headlight is the best in the segment. There is proper illumination and its night rides are pretty easy. But with the FC version 3.0, well, its headlight is more of a sharper one, which is not a very unique one, but still it's very sleek. And yet this headlight is also LED with good range and coverage too, but then for the comparison, the better one is surely the one in the X-Blade. Then checking the tank, well, both the bikes get a very chunky tank, but here also there is a massive difference. The X-Blade gets a more sharper one with matching cowls, and also the graphics used is basically the branding. But with the FC version 3.0, well, the tank leans more towards a curvy look with a massive structural format, and here also the graphics used is minimal. Now here with both these bikes, the core attraction is the tank, and both have their own design approach with different tank capacities. The X-Blade's tank is 12 litre in capacity, while the FC gets a slightly bigger tank measuring 13 litre in capacity. Then moving to the rear section, well, here the X-Blade gets the sharper looking taillight, which is of the T-shaped format, and to match it there is the unique style split type pillion grab bar too. But with the FC version 3.0, the taillight is the small and the iconic FC type taillight with a single type pillion grab bar, and here the grab bar used in both these bikes are very comfortable ones, so what's different with them is just the looks. And also both these bikes does get a rear tire hugger and also an undercowl, which is a neat add-on. Then checking the exhaust, the FC version 3.0 BS-6 retains its standout midship muffler, which till date is very sharp looking. But with the X-Blade, it's more of like a classic yet chromy one with a dual exhaust port to give a different look. And now moving to the handlebar section, both the bikes get a straight type handlebar, and also the switch controls used in both these bikes are all the needed ones too. On the left, both the bikes get a dim, bright and pass light toggle, indicator control and horn, but on the right side, the X-Blade gets a slight upper hand with the addition of the SR toggle on top of the engine kill switch and the self-start switch, which is present in both the bikes. Now this advantage for the X-Blade can even be noticed in the instrument cluster, because the fully digital meter in the X-Blade shows a bit more info like the gear piston indicator, which is not showcased in the FC's negative LCD meter. So overall, this is everything about the design of both these bikes, and yeah, what I feel is that both these bikes are attractive ones in their own way. For me, the X-Blade looks more like a sharp and angular style bike, while the FC is like a curvy and a macho style one. Now about the build quality, both these bikes does use fiber a lot, but here of the two, the better quality fiber felt to be in the X-Blade. But then if you're careful with the maintenance, you probably won't face issues from both these bikes. So that's everything about the design and build quality, and now let's move to the second factor, which is the specifications. Like I always say, this is just paper stuff, and while checking the engine spec, a simple thing to figure out is that the X-Blade has the higher capacity 162.71cc engine compared to the 149cc engine in the FC, and as expected, the engine in the X-Blade does generate better power and torque figures, but here both these engines are programmed fuel injection BS-6 standard ones, but with the starting method, the X-Blade does get both self and kick, while the FC just as the self-start. Then for the body dimensions, well, the X-Blade is in every sense a bigger bike with much more curb mass, but in the ground clearance side, the FC gets a slight advantage, and that advantage thing is kept intact with the tire dimensions too. The FC version 3.0 BS-6 has a much more chunkier front and rear tire, where the front measures 100 mm and the rear measures 140 mm, and here both are tubeless tires and the rim is 17 inches. Now this tubeless tire part and the rim size is same in the X-Blade, but the tire thickness is less, where the front measures 80 mm and the rear measures 130 mm. But then while checking the brakes, well, with that the X-Blade and the FC are almost same, with the exception that the X-Blade has a rear drum brake option, but here both the bikes does get single channel ABS, which is a neat thing. And about the suspensions used, well, the X-Blade gets a telescopic front suspension and a monoshock rear one, and while checking the FC version 3.0 BS-6, the front is a telescopic one and the rear is a 7-step adjustable monocross suspension. So here the spec sheet comparison is a very interesting one between these two bikes, and that surely makes things much more exciting for the third factor, which is the ride quality and comfort. And here let's start things with the X-Blade, and this new BS-6 X-Blade has slightly improved acceleration than the previous one, and it's also a very refined and smooth engine. There is abrupt speed gain, and here you can easily hit the 90 mark, and actually pushing further was also a very easy task for the X-Blade BS-6, and during my testing for a speed range from 0 to 100 km/h, there was literally no vibration or engine stress. And hence I loved the ride quality and the performance of the X-Blade BS-6. Now the FC version 3.0 BS-6 also gets improved acceleration than its previous version, but here the lesser capacity engine does take a bit more time to gain speed, and hence hitting that 90 mark is slower compared to the X-Blade BS-6. And with the FC also, the engine is a very refined one, but here during my testing, the best ride quality was for a speed range from 0 to 85 km per hour. Now you can push further above, but then there was a slight bit of engine stress above the 85 km per hour mark. But the FC actually gets an upper hand when it comes to the ride control. You're sitting closer to the handle, and here the less weight and also the better grab makes quick flicks very simple and easy in the FC version 3.0 BS-6. And about the X-Blade, it's also a bike that can easily get through traffic, but from the two, the FC is surely the one with the advantage in terms of the ride control. That said, the X-Blade does shine better in the comfort department. The riding post is not a perfectly upright one in the X-Blade, but then it's not a sporty one too, and here since the seat used is a great one for both the rider and the pillion, I loved the ride comfort from the X-Blade. Now credits has to go to the soft set suspension used in the X-Blade, and hence all of this together put the X-Blade in the top spot in terms of the ride control. And if in case you're wondering about the comfort thing in the FC version 3.0 BS-6, well the seating post is perfect and the seat does offer good comfort again for both the rider and the pillion, but then the suspension is a bit on the stiffer side, which for me was fine, but for some, they might prefer a bit more softer one. And also about the rider's seat height, well the X-Blade has a slightly taller seat height, but if you set me as a reference point, well it was totally comfortable for me in both these bikes in terms of the seat height. And by the way, my height is 176 centimeters. And about the safety side, well after testing both these bikes, even though there are differences in the tires and brake spec sheet, well I didn't find any major difference in road. The dual disc variant of the X-Blade and the FC version 3.0 does perform almost same in terms of panic braking, with a safe recommended speed from my side being under the 80 to 85 km per hour mark. Now while taking tight corners, the FC with a bit more chunkier tire does have a very slight advantage. So here after taking the ride quality and comfort, well the X-Blade does show the advantage of getting a bigger capacity engine, but that said there are still places where both these bikes does show their advantages. Still I would say it's not yet time to make a final decision because we have a fourth factor, which is a very important one, and it's the mileage. Now the mileage I'm quoting here is the mileage I got after testing, but please note, the mileage for you might be different because mileage totally depends on the riding conditions and riding pattern. And now to the number, and let's start with the FC version 3.0 BS-6, and from it the mileage we got is approximately 53 km per liter, and from the X-Blade BS-6, the approx mileage was 58 km per liter. So in the mileage department, the X-Blade does have an upper hand, and yet this test was conducted in good conditions. And now to the last factor, which is the pricing. And here the X-Blade does have two variants and the FC just has one, or maybe you can count it as two if you take into consideration the FCS and the FC. And actually throughout the video, everything I mentioned is about the FCS, and you're checking the ex-showroom pricing in Kerala. The FC is the cheaper one and the price gap is a healthy one if the comparison is between the FCS and the X-Blade's dual disc variant. So I guess that's everything for this detailed comparison video. Here both the bikes does have a very different design approach, and also they do perform differently in roads too. Here what I felt is that the X-Blade does have the advantage in the performance, and also the refinement and comfort was slightly better, and the X-Blade even gets a higher mileage too. But with the FC version 3.0 BS-6, it's an easy to control bike with the advantage of a lower price tag, slightly larger tank, and also the engine quality is well maintained too. And here from the two, picking one should totally depend on things that you value the most, and hence the decision should be easy. Just tally your priorities in these factors, and whichever bike ticks the most should probably be the one that suits you. That's all for this video guys. Hope you liked it. If so, a like is much appreciated, and a sub to the channel will be awesome. And by the way, before you leave, which one from the two is your pick? Please leave that in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next one.